TV.
Hello everybody, my name is Jason Piercy and this is Out of the Vault. We're going way back to Krista Radofsky. Hopping on the boat, going all the way over to Bell Island and talking to Mr. Richard Nolan. So Richard Francis Nolan, Canadian musician, from here in Newfoundland, from Bell Island, known for performing Newfoundland folk music in Toronto nightclubs. Put out over 40 albums in a 50-year career, over 300 original songs, particularly known for Aunt Martha's Sheep, which you may recall. Born in Corner Brook, played there as a teenager, growing up through, had himself his own band out in that area, and then in the 50s moved into Toronto, where he played with a bunch of local bands, a bunch of different jobs, but began to record the albums of Johnny Cash as his own and garnered himself the nickname the Johnny Cash in Newfoundland. And his band, the Blue Valley Boys, included local Corner Brook performers like Roy Penny. They perform regularly at the Horseshoe Tavern and backing up a bunch of visiting country singers. And then in the 60s, he switched more to focus just on traditional Newfoundland music. And that's when he released albums with some of the things that we would recognize, like Fisherman's Boy, Aunt Martha's Sheep, and of course, Eyes the Buy. And Nolan appeared even at the Grand Ole Opry and national television programs. He was nominated for a Juno Award. He hosted his own television program, which, I mean, is obviously a big deal. It's a bigger deal for Richard Nolan. And then in November 2005, he was awarded the Lifetime Achievement Award from the Music Industry Association of Newfoundland and Labrador. And in 2009, Dick Nolan, posthumously, was awarded the Dr. Helen Creighton Lifetime Achievement Award by the East Coast Music Association. I know that's a lot of stuff, but it's because Dick Nolan was a lot of performer, and he was a lot of stuff. And Krista Radofsky got to meet him over on Bell Island. And now you get to enjoy it. Have fun.
Well, Krista, the province's annual music awards were handed out over the weekend in Grand Falls, Windsor, and you were there.
I love these music awards. They're now called Music NL, used to be the MIAs. Yeah. It's a fabulous weekend, you know. They have showcases on the Friday and Saturday nights featuring all the rising stars in the province. And they have really interesting panel discussions. They bring in guest speakers, and every 2 years, it's outside of St. John's. Yeah. And it's great when they're out of town because everyone just seems a little bit more focused, and we're all staying in the one hotel, and you meet for breakfast, and you get in the same cab, and it's great. The thing that I find really amazing about these things is the camaraderie between the musicians. Yeah. And I don't mean that to sound trite, but there really is an exceptional group of people who really support each other. They're really tight. They perform together. They collaborate together. It's really phenomenal. Cool. And the whole culmination of the Great Music Weekend was last night, the big award show. It was hosted by comedian Johnny Harris. Here are some of the highlights.
Rod Jackson performed the title track from his album Be My Hands and took home the awards for Male Artist of the Year and Country Artist of the Year.
Be my hands when I can't use them. Be my ears when the magic of the dance, magic of the dance, the magic of the dance.
The Cormiers were the big winners, taking home Group of the Year, SoCan Song of the Year for Not Me, Not Now, Album of the Year, and Folk Roots Group of the Year.
Our music is who we are, and I want to say that our mother, Margaret Cormier, came all the way from the Codder Valley tonight, and she's almost 78 years old, and she plays the accordion in her own band out there, so wonderful.
This year's Female Artist of the Year is...
Kellyanne Evans.
Kellyanne also won Pop Rock Artist and rocked the house with her little black dress. Three of the amazing nominees in Instrumental Artist of the Year, Pat Boyle, Sandy Morris, and George Morgan, performed together some original Newfoundland and Labrador circus music. It was Sandy Morris who took home the award for Instrumental Artist of the Year. Colleen Powers soothed the crowd with her lyrical tune, I'm Face and Eyes in Love, and was named Alternative Artist of the Year. Celebration received the award for Best Gospel Group. Outgoing President John Hutton was recognized for his contribution to the industry and was given the first ever Industry Builder Award. He then announced that he would be sponsoring an award in the Hutton name.
The very first Hutton Entertainer of the Year award goes to my old good buddy, Jason Greeley.
Krista, the Novaks won the CBC Galaxy Rising Star Award
right.
and the check for $5,000 that comes with it, but they weren't there to accept their award because they're touring with Matt Mays and El Torpedo.
Yeah, it was a phenomenal show. Now, the highlight of the whole evening was the Lifetime Achievement Award given to Dick Nolan. Now, he is a legendary Newfoundland country music recording artist and singer-songwriter. And when you see this clip, you'll know that he's still the singer he used to be.
My rig's a little old, but that don't mean she's slow.
Naturally, it was a perfect fit for Dick to perform with the 8-track favorites, who were nominated in 5 categories for their country music. For one song, they were the Dick Nolan Backup Band.
Be right. 6 days on the road, I'm gonna make it home tonight.
And while Dick has spent many a night in the spotlight, he was a little overwhelmed by it all.
I'm especially proud to hear about the folk music of this province being performed with new arrangements by talented people. I've had a long career, and over that time, I've seen the music industry in this province grow a lot, and I'm proud to think that maybe, in some small way, in my past 50 years, I've made things a little easier for musicians.
Ladies and gentlemen, legendary singer-songwriter and this year's Music NL Lifetime Achievement Award winner, Dick Nolan.
Everybody's made to do something, and fortunately I got into this.
Dick Nolan, 50 years of music.
So I don't know, like, that's Stratton's Road in Corner Brook.
Richard Pius Nolan was born and raised in Corner Brook. Born into a family of 10 children, he started performing and making radio appearances when he was just a teenager. He moved to Toronto in 1958 to work as a country singer and performed with a slew of bands in popular Ontario clubs. And although he recorded successful albums of Johnny Cash covers and made a living singing truck-driving country and western songs, he would find his lifelong success in singing songs that were true to his heart, songs about home.
I really didn't get into the Newfoundland music till '66. I wrote that song, Come Home Here, and I started to realize like it was more to country music than it was the same old love stories and the same songs, and and it was more stories to Newfoundland music. And a lot of them were true,
And that was kind of the turning point in your career, especially with Aunt Martha Sheep. Did you realize then that there was a real appetite for original Newfoundland music?
No, not really, because there wasn't much on the go. Like we hardly ever heard any Newfoundland music. And just the old standards, the old Polina and Eyes to Buy, and you know.
That's right.
And then when I came out with Mother Sheep, like, it changed the whole aspect, you know.
What was the reaction right away? What do you remember thinking then?
God, I almost went crazy. But I was over in Labrador. I was doing a tour, and RCA was down looking all over for me, and they got a message to me and said to get back to St. John's right away. And VOCM had charts were plugged, you know, asking for my record.
Everyone asking for it.
And that was on the rock and roll charts and everything else. Yeah. But all over Canada, I was getting a lot of interviews. And I got on the Opry, and I had to explain the song, because down there is a mostly all-American audience.
Now, you were the
I
first.
explained the song, and I told them what it was about, and the people that got me on played at the Horseshoe. That's happened before, and they had that song, Give Me 40 Acres, and they knew me, so they were the host for the night, and so kind of gave me a little bit of cheer or something. But I had a little bit of cheer in me because I had to get on there.
You had to get something to get your nerves up to do it.
Yeah, but it didn't work.
No?
No.
So what did you do to get, so you were the first Newfoundlander to perform at the Grand Ole Opry.
Yeah.
So were you nervous as anything?
Oh, I was nervous when I went on, and I was nervous when I came off. But I didn't shake or anything or go crazy, you know.
Yeah.
And after that, we went to the Ernest Tubb when he was alive. He used to have a bar, the Ernest Tubb record bar, where they sold any record you wanted to buy. And all the entertainers went there, and they had a midnight show, like. So I went on that after, you know.
And what was the reaction then when you performed at Martha Sheep?
Oh, it was good.
Yeah.
Good, yeah.
They laughed.
I explained it to them, you know, and told them about the Mount East.
Over the years, Dick Nolan recorded 42 records. 2 went gold, 1 went platinum. He received national recognition for album sales and was the first Newfoundlander to be nominated for a Juno. Dick performed alongside international celebrities like Dolly Parton, seen here with his daughter Bonnie Lou, Waylon Jennings, Charlie Pride, Loretta Lynn, even Willie
I played with him
Nelson.
the first time he played in Canada, and I always liked Willie Nelson. I used to remember buying these records at Wilco's in the mall in St. John's, and we used to get them for 69, 70 cents. And he was real big in Texas, but he's never big anywhere else. So they get him into the Horseshoe, and we were waiting for him, you know. And he came in, and he had 2 bands with him. So he did a good show, and one Saturday rolled around. We were sitting in, we had a matinee. I was talking to Willie, and I think we were talking quite a few times through the week. But around the end of the week, and we were sitting down together, and he like he wasn't listening to me. He was looking at me. On stage with Stompin' Tom. He was another member that was in for that week. So that was 3 bands. And he kept looking at him, and he said, "Dick," he said, "you know, that fella's got something on the go. He's going to go somewhere." And little did I know, but he recognized the talent, you know. But a year later, they were lined up to go and see Stompin' Tom.
That's right.
No matinee.
Now, of course, Ron Hines' song on Get Back Change on his newest album, there's a quote from his song, and I'll read it for you. He says, "Here's to Roy, Dick, and Harry, who helped ease the worry that you naturally feel so far from home." And what's been fascinating about your career is that you were able to tap into all those Newfoundlanders everywhere who just missed this place so much. What do you think it is about Newfoundland that made us so homesick, and so therefore it was the perfect fit for your music?
I don't know. I still get homesick, you know, for Newfoundland. Like, I do if I'll ever go back again to the mainland, but now that I'm writing a book and I got a few other things in the works, and I don't have the energy I had for it years ago, but I got the willpower.
Yeah.
And about Newfoundland, like, I don't know, we came back, I bet you we lived here 6 or 7 times and moved back to Ontario. And I'd get up there for a while, and I'd get lonesome for Newfoundland, yeah.
But Newfoundlanders get lonesome for Newfoundland too.
Oh,
What
yeah,
was their
terribly.
reaction when they'd hear you perform across the country?
Oh, just liven them right up, you know.
Yeah.
Like, just get stuff off their minds so they could have a good time. And believe me, they had a good time.
And some of your songs, of course, are truly so very funny, and I guess that's why Newfoundlanders related to it. Were you hearing stories in your travels and thinking, oh, there's a good song there in there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Tom Cowell wrote a song about the rooster from Massachusetts.
That's right.
That's a good song. Now that he wrote CN Bus, I also recorded that. And he wrote a lot for the late Joan Morrissey, and I worked with Joan, and she was a great person. And Piece of Bologna, I heard that story, and I added more to it. Same with Aunt Mar the Sheep, I had to add a little bit to it, because the story originally was about the police that were in, not the RCMP, you know.
Oh, okay.
So just small little things I put in there, yeah.
And Rooster from Massachusetts was named one of the funniest songs from the East Coast, right? By the Down Homer?
Yeah,
Yeah. People everywhere love it.
I think it should have been a bigger song than what it was.
Yeah.
But maybe there's a little prejudice there, I don't know.
You're close to it.
Yeah.
Are the songs like your own babies? You feel close to them like that?
Some of them, yeah. A lot of songs I write I like, and a lot are just mediocre, but there's a few, you know, that I like to hear, and I like to hear somebody else do them. And songs that I wrote, and I wrote fast because I had the memory and I had the feeling for it, and something I wanted to do. And then some funny songs I wrote. I just wanted to get them to rhyme and try to make them funny, and
That's right.
that was it.
Eventually, Dick Nolan semi-retired to his wife's home at Bell Island. And this past summer, Bell Island hosted a Dick Nolan tribute to honor his contribution to the province. Hundreds gathered to sing together the songs he had made famous. This prolific Newfoundland icon still inspires creativity in others.
Well, just a short time later, but 12 o'clock that night, we had the sheet for cooking and everyone being tight. The smell of mutton and onions, no man could ask for more. We're chocolate loving them Indian when the mountie walked in the door.
So, in honor of Dick as a friend for a long while, I took time to do a portrait of Dick to present it to him. So here, Dick, here's from me to you, but as a friend.
Though this was a celebration, life hasn't always been easy for Dick Nolan. Once his career slowed down, his body did too. And for several years, he suffered from a serious medical condition that stopped him from playing. Now, 6 years ago, you were diagnosed with Parkinson's disease, right? That must have been a very scary diagnosis at the time.
It didn't hit me for a little while, and then I sat down and realized what could happen, you know, what it could cause. And I've seen people with Parkinson's, and of course some had bad cases of Parkinson's, and I didn't no shakes. And,
but it meant you couldn't play.
It meant I couldn't play for 6 years. So the doctor in Toronto, I was living in Bell Island when I got I was playing in Kelligrews, and myself and another guy, and I kept dropping my pick all night. So next night the same thing, so I went to see a doctor. He thought it was a pinched nerve, and he said, I'll get an appointment with a specialist for you. So he said, you might have to wait, 6 months or so. I said, well, I can't wait because I'm nervous about it, I said, I'll go back to the doctor I had in Toronto. I'll probably get a faster doctor up there. So I went back, and I waited a few more months up there. And he set me up with a brain specialist, you call it. And he gave me all the tests, not all the tests apparently. And I wasn't there no more than 15, 20 minutes. And he told me I had Parkinson's. Now, I don't know how he came to that conclusion so fast. But then when I went here, it happened over again when I came back this time. And doctor on the island here, Dr. Tucker, he said, would you mind if I got a second opinion? And I said, no, I don't mind. So he got this, he's a good doctor, good neurosurgeon. And he's a European. He's not a Newfoundlander, but he's a smart man. And he gave me completely different tests, you know. And he got me to walk down the hall so far and turn around. And when I turned around, he said to my wife, he said, that man don't have Parkinson's. He could tell by the way you turn. You got to turn with 4 or 5 turns, eh? So I just turned right around like you normally would, eh? So I went back and he said, very good, turn around again. Look the other way. So I turned around. When I turned around, he grabbed me by the shoulders and he shook me. But when you got Parkinson's, your balance is bad. Now, I would have been tipping, you know, because he never moved me. And then he grabbed the other side, did the same thing. So he gave me a bunch of pills, and I said a prayer, and went on.
So it was a misdiagnosis all those years?
Well, I'm hoping it was, you know, because I'd like to get this arm back in shape, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're starting to feel a little bit better now?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And I like doing house parties more than anything now, you know.
Do you?
Where I can sit down like I know probably thousands of songs and have a beer and sit back and sing songs.
Yeah, entertain.
Yeah.
So what's next for you now? You're hoping to get back playing pretty soon once you start feeling a little bit better?
Yeah. Not too much. I just like the odd jobs, you know. And Wayne and I are on the book, the biography thing, you know.
Yeah, you have a writer working with you now.
Yeah. And I think it's going to be good, really. Like, we started off in going to school in Corner Brook and right up through and up to the clubs in Ontario and Nashville and Alabama and all over the place. So every time I turn around, there's something else I can find to put in the book. It's going to be a big book.
And you're still able to remember it all?
Yeah, like it comes to you, you know, and I might forget it for a while, and then I'm sitting down and something will come to my mind. Because I'm thinking about what happened in the younger days, yeah. So I don't know if you'd like to think of it all, but a lot of parts I won't put in there.
Dick Nolan is a Newfoundland and Labrador legend. This gentleman from Corner Brook, who took the world by storm, has 50 years of music to his credit and more than 300 songs. And while he waits patiently for the right medical treatment, he plans to keep on trucking.
So everybody in Newfoundland is growing up singing, I's the boy that builds the boat, and I's the boy, like, but really that boy was Dick Nolan. Like, Dick Nolan was the boy. He was the boy that's I. He was the I that is the boy that built the boat. Anyway, thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Hi, I'm Justice.
And I'm Nia.
And we believe
Dreams fuel revolutions.
That's why we're engaging with Canadian icons and the causes they support.
Join us for these inspiring conversations and find out how you can be revolutionary.
If you have a comment about this program, we'd love to hear it. Email or call us, or send us your feedback through social media.
When an impaired driver killed my brother DJ, my life changed forever. Life has changed for all of us during the pandemic, and many people are turning to alcohol and drugs to cope. Even though most of us are staying home more, police across